To everyone else, this is a desk. But to you, it's a launch pad. Your starting block. This ain't a desk. This is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G 5G on us at your local Boost retailer. Moto G 5G on us when you switch with ID verification and new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. See participating dealers for details.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/work. Shopify.com/work.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 5, Whitney Drew and Her Clues.
There's a nod to Nancy Drew, if you're not familiar with the reference. Because we've shifted from Laverne and Shirley to Nancy Drew, and that's a pretty big jump. That's like a quantum leap in references.
Do you think so? I feel like it's like the same generation.
Nancy Drew?
What, did you grow up on Nancy Drew books?
I feel like that was a more common thing, more recent thing.
I thought those books were like from the 60s.
Oh, maybe it is. But I feel like there were newer iterations. There were like those explore and make your own adventure computer games for the CD-ROM.
Okay, now you're dating yourself. What about Julia Roberts' niece? Who's that little one? What's her name? Emma? Emma Roberts? Wasn't she in some type of Nancy Drew type movie?
I think they did a Nancy Drew movie recently, which that was cashing in on the CD-ROM drive crowd that grew up with it.
All right, we're like...
Who knew Nancy Drew was such a timeless classic? A literary genius.
She's only really got one clue, though.
This wasn't even a clue.
No, we'll talk about it because literally the minute the episode ended, the person who gave her said information got on TikTok and started spilling the tea.
This was more like a Blue's Clues sort of clue, where it is very clearly labeled and addressed to a specific audience member. But the Bravo description for this one is, as the women settle back into life in Salt Lake City after their whirlwind trip to Milwaukee, group dynamics are anything but calm. Whitney is on the hunt to find out who planted the rumors about her business. Mary is fed up with Heather. That was it.
Are we still going to call it a rumor?
When there's factual evidence to...
It's a fact about your business, Whitney.
It's something that's happening.
You bought the jewelry off of Alibaba or AliExpress. It's very clear.
Bad press. Maybe that's what we could call it. The bad press, because it's stuff that's happening.
Well, I've got a different version of what happened in this episode.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know why they're keeping it to just like the core group of people, and that's who they're including in the descriptions. They didn't want to put anything about Britani in here, maybe.
Yeah, and I guess they found Bronwyn's part of the episode just as boring as I did.
Totally swerved on that. But yeah, let's hear the Carly episode rewrite for this one.
Angie starts the search for a new BFF. Mary begs Britani to keep them out of her situationship. Whitney contacts Meredith's private eye. Apparently, it's only a problem when Meredith does it.
Well, I don't even know if this was a private eye, technically. This was like an informant source that Whitney had, but it's a source of a source. It's very convoluted.
This episode didn't have enough Meredith for me. I need more Meredith marks.
She needed at least a day and a half of just tub time as soon as she got back from Milwaukee.
She's very busy. She's busy learning Hebrew. We saw a little bit of that. That was all we got to see of her this episode.
See, that's what I'm upset about, is I don't want to see Meredith prepping for bat mitzvah where she's doing well. I want to be there when she is learning
she's really struggling.
Is flubbing her way through this. Cold reads. That's what I want to see.
Oh, just wait. We're going to get to watch her read the Torah.
Well, this is the rehearsal, or like the reciting of the words. She was practicing her.
We got a couple of words, but she's going to be up there for a while when we get to the bat mitzvah.
Yes, I believe that. And see, I needed to be there from the beginning. I didn't want to come in when she's already made so much progress that seemed like she's doing pretty well. I don't care about that. I want to be there when it's not going so good.
She's got a busy schedule. She's either making bath bombs or she's got Hebrew lessons. She wasn't available to film. Oh, announcements. I was about to skip them.
Okay.
You can listen to this episode ad-free and early over on our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod. There's also a ton of bonus content over there where you can listen to us talk about other shows, movies, documentaries. We most recently dropped a Let's Talk About It episode where we recapped. Would you call it a recap, Corey?
We survived.
There were some substances involved. We recapped an episode of Seventh Heaven, and it was a wild ride.
To say the least. Yeah, so.
I think personally, some of our best work.
There are disclaimers in the episode, so if it doesn't sound like something that you'd be interested in, then maybe skip that one. But the general consensus seems to be there's some funny stuff in there.
Don't skip it. It's like the best episode ever.
Don't.
All right, we open, and they're kind of trolling Lisa right from the start of the episode because Henry is playing video games in his assigned video game playing room. Didn't it look like a bedroom?
I feel like this is just his room, and there's so much video gaming that goes on here, it's just been designated as video game room.
I didn't know that children sit that close to TV still. Is that necessary?
I feel like it's gotten better because with the CRT, there used to be like for those who don't know, that's the big tube televisions, and there used to be like a force field of static that would be in front of there. So if you got too close, you paid for it. So that's changed now.
He needs that threat because he's getting up and personal with that TV, and he's too busy doing that. He is not going to take a break. He's not going to eat with Lisa.
He's nonverbal at this point. He's not comprehending anything that's going on. I don't know. He didn't even have anything to say about Lisa's outfit. Was she preparing for a spacewalk? She looked like a deflated Michelin man.
No, it was giving marshmallow. You know what? Still better than Bronwyn's hot dog costume.
I will take this, yes, even though she is one small step for man.
It's called couture.
One giant leap for Skibbity Toilet.
Why are they acting, though, like kids playing video games or being addicted to screens isn't normal nowadays?
I mean, I would say it's a problem, but
I'm not saying it's not
this
a problem.
Isn't abnormal.
I'm just saying it's not right. It's not abnormal.
Yeah.
Then they hit us with the heavy storyline because all of a sudden Bronwyn and Lisa are friends again.
So, yeah, and I feel like Lisa is just in everyone's shit this episode. Well, she's all over the place.
That's kind of the continued, I feel like, issue and story with Lisa is she's in everybody's business and everyone's tired of it. Not Bronwyn, though, in this
Bronwyn
case.
doesn't know yet that you're letting Lisa in on something and it's about to become her thing. It's very much your thing right now, but little does Bronwyn know it's going to become Lisa's thing.
The story that they tell us is they were sitting in the airport waiting to leave Milwaukee, and Lisa made a comment to Bronwyn about how some face she made looked a lot like Gwen. And she responded, really? Because I never get any comments that she looks like me. She looks like her dad. And then she pulled a picture up of him on the phone. And lo and behold, it's someone Lisa knows.
Of course. Lisa's social circle runs ginormous.
She does seem to know everyone, doesn't she?
Very much so.
Not necessarily very well. a lot of acquaintances.
Yes, but she does recognize Bronwyn's baby daddy, knows the family, and so now they're pairing up for some sort of Barbara Walters type interview that Lisa is just bringing the hard-hitting, heartfelt questions that Bronwyn has to answer.
Well, there's this whole tragic story behind it that we did not know.
Was not ready for this.
Which is that Bronwyn got pregnant when she was 19. She was very young.
At BYU.
I almost didn't say it.
Yes.
The soaking went a little too far at
Yes.
BYU that day.
There are consequences.
She was young. So was the father of Gwen. They went and told his parents. They didn't take it so well. They pretty much blamed her for the entire situation and then decided collectively that they wanted nothing to do with the baby. So Gwen has never known her father. And then a few years later, Bronwyn found out from Facebook that he had passed away.
So now Gwen is 18 years old. So it's been, 16 and a half, 17 years since he passed away. And now the grandparents are trying to get involved. His parents.
Well, because Lisa went to them and said, I know Bronwyn. I've met Gwen. She's your granddaughter.
This would be great content.
Can I get you to come together and meet each other? Do you want to have a relationship? And they claim that they did, or at least Lisa's side of the story seemed to make them sound a lot more enthusiastic about it than when they eventually contact Gwen.
Lisa's assessment is that it is time for Gwen to meet her grandparents because Lisa's just fucking messy like that. She's like, yeah, it's going to happen. This needs to happen.
She is one of those friends who will tell you what you should be doing with your life.
And no one is asking Gwen at this point, how do you feel about this?
I think Bronwyn is, just not in front of Lisa.
Yeah, hopefully not in front of Lisa, because if Lisa finds out.
Those are personal conversations that you might have at home with your children, but if Lisa's over, she's definitely going to sit down and join in. She might grab your phone from you and start texting people too.
Yeah, that's something that happens on a regular basis.
So the big question of the episode is, are they now going to meet Gwen's grandparents and the rest of her father's family? What's going to happen with that? Bronwyn is feeling really conflicted because at the same time, like, if Gwen wants that relationship, she doesn't want to block her from having one. But these people also weren't supportive and didn't come around for basically her entire life. So Bronwyn's feeling really conflicted, but she wants to know what it is Gwen wants to do. Because if Gwen wants to have a relationship with them, she's not going to keep her from being able to have that. But she still obviously has these negative feelings towards his family for the things that were said and their lack of involvement over the years.
So they end up having a nice sit-down conversation, mother and daughter chat over cookies and soda, which I find personally offensive.
It was very, it was giving Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
It was too much for me. If you ever have soda with cookies, this is just an insult to the craft.
I feel like it was a recipe for diabetes.
Milk or get the fuck out.
Milk and cookies?
Yes, milk and cookies.
All right. That's pretty much the only instance in which I will consume milk. We already know I could last 6 months with a half gallon of milk.
It wouldn't last 6 months, though, so you got a big problem there.
I would rather have a swig.
No, it's just the soda is too sweet, and so by comparison, the cookie does not taste as good.
You don't know what they were mixing up in there. You know, they don't just drink straight soda.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They are only adding more sweet things to the soda, so now it is getting unbearably sweet.
I couldn't stop looking at Bronwyn's house because I saw a clip on TikTok from Nick Vile's podcast where he was talking about the decor in her home, and he compared it to if Logan Paul decorated a mansion. And
where's your Prime hydration station?
The Prime bottles would blend in. You wouldn't even see them in all
Probably
the bright colors.
Not. Yeah, wouldn't notice.
That was on the nose, and now I can't stop seeing it. The pattern of the couch they were sitting on, it was very holographic. It was distracting.
But they were able to rein it in for this conversation because Gwen has legitimate concerns now. She was excited at first when Bronwyn brought up the idea of meeting her biological grandparents. That has now turned into, there's some apprehension. There's some red flags that are flying around.
They're sending weird texts.
there's weird communication.
That's where I feel like Lisa overstepped a bit.
Yeah, and where it feels like the grandparents involved here, now Gwen is kind of thinking about it and overthinking it maybe a little bit too.
Well, I don't know. They sent a text that was like, hey, we're open to meeting you. If you feel like you're ready for that and you want to accept us, but if not, meh.
Don't. We don't want to hear any of the negative
hear
stuff.
your sob story.
Sad stuff. And Gwen is starting to question, well, I've been around for 18 years and we've never had this come up. And now, magically, by the power of Lisa Barlow, this is becoming an opportunity, that this is a realistic thing that could be happening here. Why didn't they reach out before then? That's kind of odd.
She should probably just ask for like a photo album, or she's really only interested in knowing more about her dad. It's not necessarily having a relationship with these people.
Right. And I think that becomes a very important distinction. Maybe we should clarify that. Maybe we could just do like an episode of discovering your roots for Gwen. And so that way she could just get a nice book that's well bound at the completion of this, that has all of the documentation that they've discovered or that they have. And that's what you leave here with today.
They'll find out that they're related to Lisa Barlow.
Oh, man, that'd be something.
She would love that. Because then she could also participate in the interview.
She's going to take,
Because she's going to be sitting off screen no matter what.
Well, yeah, she's going to be involved in one way or another.
We have to talk about what happened at Mary's house this episode, because they pretend that this was just completely normal.
Well, at least we know whose room is upstairs.
What was that? Okay, to be fair, if we're going to go after Bronwyn's decor, we have to go after Mary Cosby. She may be interested in clothes and have good questionable taste.
Is it a couture thing then? Yes.
No. We went to a law firm this morning. Same letters on the wall. Same size, name of the law firm. That's what was going on above Robert Jr.'s door.
I feel like the law firm was bigger.
Maybe he needs the sign to know he's in the right place, though.
Well, because we find out very quickly that he must be recapping Seventh Heaven on a regular basis.
He is so high. And that's not weed, Corey.
Oh, yeah, this is something else.
That was opiates.
This is different.
He's barely got his eyes open. He's talking to Mary from upstairs about needing to borrow some money. She's questioning, what's the money for? You really need to take care of your body like I am. I'm going to dance class. Maybe you should go to dance class.
Please don't go to dance class right now. You are not in the state to be joining a dance class.
I did see an interview where she spoke about how this season there's stuff that goes on with Robert Jr. with struggling with an addiction. So it's very obvious from this scene that we're starting to see it on the show. The way that they just moved past it in that comical Housewives-y editing way was really strange.
Well, and they didn't even fully address it in that moment, because it was just him asking for money again, because he had called her when she was in Milwaukee and he was asking for her to Venmo him money. And she gave him a hard time. Oh, you're not going to ask how my trip was or how I'm doing or anything like that. You're just asking me to send you money. So
correct.
That's the storyline that's being established. Yes, that's what's happening here.
The real story is that Angie has decided her new BFF is going to be Mary.
Yeah, whether Mary knows that yet or not, I don't know. But Angie is right outside and letting Mary know that her charity awaits.
How are you going to be Greek and fuck up the word chariot?
I don't know. Of all of the things for her to get mixed up on, your charity awaits.
What, does she have a lot of time clear in her schedule now that she's not taking calls from Lisa?
I think a lot of her time went to being on the phone with Lisa.
I'm going to get back into working out now. We're going to get in shape.
We're going to sign up for dance classes that are just full of teenagers.
This was a teenage dance class. This was not for adult women. Women of a certain age.
I think...
What was going on with Angie's hair?
Angie... Well, I wasn't really watching Angie so much because I was watching...
You needed to be.
The little amount of effort that was going into it from Mary, because Mary was clearly just there so she would not be fined. And yeah, she's barely attempting to follow along with what's going on in this dance class.
Angie had one side of her hair braided, and then the other side was just Mormon curls.
Maybe it was a work in progress, or she slept on the one side and
did one fall out?
Something happened.
Did this class get crazy and we didn't see it?
Yeah, the dancing kind of shook something loose up there.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bored. I wanted to see them not be able to follow the instruction more, or some freestyle solo type things.
I was excited. I mean, it was better than Lisa's dance at the drag show at the end of the last episode. That was...
She is a singer. She's not a dancer. You can't have everything.
This is true. I mean, nobody can be as talented as Britney Spears, obviously, to do it all. But I think Mary dancing like a Peanuts character was not something I was expecting to see this season. But we did get a little bit of that,
She's getting very active in season 5. She did the ropes course. She's going to go zip lining. She's dancing. She danced at the drag show too.
She's got a lot going on. She's very busy. And we find out that there's some drama, though. There's some lingering drama from the Milwaukee trip where Angie is catching Mary up to speed, still upset with Lisa. It turns out Lisa kind of has problems with everyone. And maybe Lisa is all of our problem then, because she's the common denominator. She has all these issues with everybody.
And Angie seems really upset that Heather is kind of defending Lisa in this instance.
So now that puts Heather on Mary's radar, where she's like, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, Angie. I'll keep an eye on Heather.
That was an invitation to go after Heather at the next outing.
Yeah, you have you have your orders. Let's go.
I feel like there's so much potential for the Angie and Mary friendship, but we haven't peaked. We haven't gotten there yet. The dance class wasn't it for me.
No, that didn't really seem to highlight the strengths of their friendship.
They both felt like kind of low energy. And I feel like there's a lot more that Mary can be giving. And maybe it's because she likes Angie. When she doesn't like someone, she has a lot better interactions. A lot more entertaining for me, at least.
Yeah, I think it's just we're speaking from a place of needing to be entertained.
I don't need Mary Cosby to have friends.
To everyone else, this is a task. But to you, this is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G5G for $29.99 at boostmobile.com. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. Moto G5G for $29.99 when you switch with a new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Online only. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit boostmobile.com for details.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/work. Shopify.com/work.
Heather is busy chatting with Lisa. They're going to meet up at the Salt Caves, which we've seen before.
Seen this. Yeah, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives did it first. What?
Was it the same place?
It looked very similar. How many salt caves do you think they have laying around in Salt Lake City?
I feel like there's a lot.
Probably a lot.
And not just because of the Salt Lake thing. I just think it's a popular thing for people who have a lot of free time from 9 to 5 to do during the day.
There you go. Okay, that was a very
say it lightly.
very official way to state that stance thing.
It's weird. It's just a room, and then they put an outdoor like beach chair in the middle of it.
Yeah, because don't just sit on the salt, because then it's going to dissolve. There's a lot of things that's going to make the salt dissolve. You have to be careful here. I loved the part where Lisa was just asking this lady for some tea while she's describing the room and all the health benefits. And she's like, yeah, great. Can you go get me some tea? Do they even do that here? Do they serve beverages here?
I'm unclear, because at no point did she say, can I get you a drink? Would you like some water? Do you have an order? She doesn't, I don't think she's a waitress.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is not like a food service experience, a dining experience, or snacks, coffee, and tea.
Is it cold in the salt cave?
I don't think so. It didn't look cold necessarily. It's not like a cave. It's a room that's just full of salt, right?
It's not a cave.
It's not a cave.
These are in strip malls, Corey.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it looks like. But then she reluctantly brings them some tea and she's like, please don't spill it though, because I have to replace the salt myself if it gets dissolved.
That's why it seems like it's not something that they typically offer.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going around with trays of liquid to be carrying between these salt rooms for everyone to enjoy.
I kind of think that Lisa asked her for something and she panicked a little bit and she was like, okay, we have in the break room for the employees, I can make her some tea.
There's a Keurig cup, I think. I've never used it before because it's never been cleaned.
It would have been much funnier if she addressed Lisa and told her, I'm sorry, we don't serve food and drinks here.
It's not a beverage situation.
Now that we're in this relaxing spa-like environment, Heather takes the opportunity to upset Lisa by telling her what Angie has been saying behind her back, which I'm getting a little tired of Heather doing this season.
Yeah, this isn't really this.
We just came off of the heels of her telling Whitney about Meredith finding out about the Alibaba necklace situation. And now at the first opportunity, she is telling Lisa that Angie is talking about her parenting behind her back.
Slamming her parenting and basically saying that if Lisa is deeming Angie to be coming up with these excuses that she needs to break away from these in-depth conversations with Lisa because Elektra needs a present mother, that's not something that Lisa's able to provide Henry, because I don't think Henry even knows if there's anybody else in the room with him when he's playing his games.
That's what he's doing right now while she's at the salt cave. He's occupied for a while.
Until 2 a.m. How late is this place open? So Lisa doesn't like that because going to parenting and being critical of parenting, that's a low blow. She kind of did that at the Harley Davidson museum. Is it a museum? Is that what we're going to call it?
It was a museum in which
dinner.
they were holding a formal dinner.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, yeah, Lisa was kind of already doing that where she was bringing Elektra into the argument, but she was trying to use that as a negative thing.
Technically, Lisa opened the door first to talking about kids.
Kind of, right? Didn't she invite that in?
I'm saying that's probably where the conversation is going to go when she ultimately confronts Angie about this.
But Lisa got upset because when Angie brought up the stuff with Henry staying up till 2 a.m. playing video games, that was a little too real for her. We don't have anything that we can defend against.
Facts, not rumors.
It's hard to take that all in.
I was getting really worried because she was getting so worked up that she started to toss the cup around with the hot tea.
Oh yeah, you thought she was going to go flying here, and yeah, there's probably
she's gonna melt everything in that room.
There's probably the little employee out in the hallway keeping an eye on it, just sweating bullets out there.
Just another betrayal from another person. She's got to deal with all of these people criticizing her just for being on television, and now she's got to worry that one of her friends is talking shit behind her back about her being a parent.
I'm going to need to think up some mean things about Angie's parenting, so then that way I can be prepared for our conversation.
Well, I was thinking, luckily you're not friends anymore, so it's not your friend talking behind your back.
Yeah, it's somebody else who's just being publicly critical of your parenting skills.
I've lost track. What is that, the A story against Lisa? Now we're going to go to the B story?
She's involved in every single story, so I don't even know.
Because now we have Whitney, and she's in the car, I don't know, going to where? Not a photo shoot for her jewelry.
No, she was dropping her daughter off at soccer, and I got nervous because then there was a whole ear piercing storyline, and I was having Aurora flashbacks from Sister Wives, where I was like, please don't do this. We don't need to go down that route. We're not there yet.
Well, she should do it. That way she could take some photos for the Prism website with her wearing the jewelry.
I still don't need it as a storyline, though. If you're going to do that, go ahead and do that.
You can't be turning down free models at this point because they need to update the Prism website. She's wearing a Prism hat.
She's trying. She's pushing it. as best she can, trying to bring the brand back from the brink.
Not a detective hat, though.
No, not a Sherlock Holmes hat. She left her
she need
pipe
a
at
little
home.
Pipe. Yeah, she's missing a few things. She has contacted one of her friends who is a fellow podcaster. So I guess that also makes him an internet sleuth who's able to find out who's behind rumors that get posted on Instagram.
Call him like you see him. Yeah, that's fine. But this was where it got weird for me, because this is essentially Whitney asking a podcaster friend to go ask somebody on social media who runs the account that leaked this post, basically, and the accusation against Prism. So now you're sending someone to go ask somebody something else where they got source material from someone else. So how many layers?
She can't do it herself.
I know, but this is like, how many levels removed are we from the direct source of information in that? It's too convoluted. How are you going to take this as fact? Whatever is discovered from this, all these levels of filtration that this information has traveled through at this point.
Well, she already suspects that it's Lisa, because that's kind of what she heard from Heather.
So it's not an investigation necessarily. She's just trying to confirm her bias.
Yes. And the telephone game continues, because Whitney heard it from Heather, who heard it from Meredith, who said that she heard it from Lisa. Where Lisa heard it from, we don't know. They're just assuming that she is the one who planted the information.
It has to be, yeah.
The original source.
She's the origin of that then.
Now, the person who's on the phone starts explaining how he approached this person who had posted the information. And they wouldn't outright say the name of the person who gave it to them. So they allowed him to play a game where he kind of said, does this person have a jewelry line? Does this person sell bath products? Does this person
live in a bathtub?
Does this person sell tequila? And they made it seem in the episode as though he confirmed that Lisa was the person who provided that information to this Instagram page.
Because the question and answer that disqualifies everyone else from this friend group that Whitney knows was the tequila, the liquor brand. Does this person have a liquor brand? Yes. And so Whitney jumped to the conclusion then, oh, Lisa's the only person. Well, that doesn't prove, right?
No.
Because this is what I'm saying is like,
you think there's just someone else who owns a liquor brand who is behind this?
It could be.
No.
I mean, what?
It's the editing. He ended up saying, the guy from the podcast, Adam, he ended up getting on TikTok and saying, that was news to me because I never saw that conversation take place, because that's not how it went down when we talked on the phone. So he's accusing Bravo of some creative editing.
Maybe it was someone from the Miller factory.
From the Miller caves that they were at last week.
A lot of caves this season.
A lot of caves.
Very much so. Well, we got a different cave to go crawl out of here. We've got Britani and Jared.
Why is this even part of the episode?
I don't know.
Britani is a friend of, she's not a full-time cast member, and her story's not interesting.
And she's a friend of everyone in her life, because Jared has her here not on a relationship basis. We don't know why we're meeting up. Why? To talk about how horrible our communication was on your Milwaukee trip? Who cares?
She thinks that they're talking about their breakup, but you can't really break up if you were never together in the first place, which seems to be Jared's point of view.
So he orders a shartboard for the table for their discussion here, because
we're not going to be here for a long time, just something you can pick at for a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that friends can share.
He wants to make sure she doesn't get any ideas that this was a romantic dinner.
Yeah, don't order a lobster or a steak or anything.
Apps. He's probably going to split it 50-50 with her.
Yeah. Do you have your card? Can you Venmo me after this?
To everyone else, this is a task. But to you, this is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G5G for $29.99 at boostmobile.com. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. Moto G5G for $29.99 when you switch with a new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Online only. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit boostmobile.com for details.
Cheers to fall at Whole Foods Market with sales through October 29th. Select frozen pizzas are 50% off with Prime. So stock up and be ready for game day. Hosting a cozy dinner? There's a sale on hearty no antibiotics ever beef chuck roast and stew meat. Or be the best guest ever and bring a robust bottle of Bordeaux wine or a specialty cheese like Humboldt Fog. Cheers to fall at Whole Foods Market. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly.
He's upset because Lisa FaceTimed him from Britney's phone while they were in Milwaukee.
I would be upset too in that circumstance. If Lisa Barlow, if I'm expecting a call from someone else and it's Lisa Barlow on the other end of that phone, I would be shocked and appalled myself.
Really?
Yeah, I would be surprised.
It seemed like he was more upset that she knew things that were in the text that he had been sending to Britney over the whole weekend because she'd been reading them.
Well, yeah, she had been replying.
I don't know if he knew that.
I don't know if he knew that at the time, but that was what was happening for the most part.
She was not just looking over Britney's shoulder.
I don't think Britney knows what's in those texts. I think that now, your conversations have mostly been with Lisa.
I hate this because it's another excuse for Britney to turn around and say, this is someone else's fault that this has happened in our relationship. I didn't really want to break up with you. I want to be together with you. Lisa said some mean things. That wasn't me. But she was really all for Lisa communicating at the time.
Yeah, and it sounded like a good idea, but now that she has to come back home from the trip, she was out with her friends and she had a group of people who were around. Now she's alone with her thoughts again. She doesn't like that. So this is scary. I can't be alone. I'm going to have to go back to Jared, but I have to come up with a good excuse.
He's just not likable or interesting enough to be on TV either.
No, this is not a match made in heaven from a television standpoint.
And I guess they just end the conversation where he's telling her, we just don't see eye to eye. We don't understand one another.
This whole conversation was like pulling teeth. Yeah, it's...
No, and there was also no conclusion to it.
Yeah, what's private versus what's public. And they're still dancing around the fact that she doesn't want to cut off contact because now she's doubling back on the breakup.
Right. Well, neither of them will say anything definitive at the end of the conversation. Are you together? Are you not together? Do you even want to be in a relationship with this person?
No, we're just kind of around because proximity, I guess, or something.
She's just continuing to get strung along by him. Guaranteed it'll be the whole season.
So we go from dropping a line to zipping on lines.
Why was this episode full of so many different activities?
There's a lot of different stuff. Yeah, for a post-adventure sort of, they already had a trip that they were just getting back from, and there's still so much more stuff happening.
Look, I don't need a friend who's going to invite me to do outdoors activities all of the time. We had the ropes course. Now we're having to go zip lining. Are they just only able to film outside?
Yes, there are COVID protocols that we're not aware of at this point. But we've got Heather, Lisa, Brittany, and Mary who are going out for a ziplining adventure. And I guess Mary's doing some accounting on the side or something. What is this clear visor that she had?
She's pulling bingo numbers. I don't know. I kept trying to see what designer it was because I felt like there's no way she would wear that unless she could say, well, it's designer, so you can't criticize it.
Waiting for someone to ask.
It could still be fucking stupid, even if a designer made it.
Yeah, as we've learned from Bronwyn's hot dog costume.
None of these women had their hair pulled back enough for me to go ziplining.
It was a little too loose, flowy.
I was scared.
I was nervous. I got a little nervous. Also, there were just mouthfuls of mud as they were going over to the zip line because they had to take these outdoor recreational vehicles. Nobody was prepared for this.
I thought we would get more complaining from Mary coming off of the ATV part of the trip. And then we get into ziplining. Who is Mary Cosby? We don't know her.
She's a ziplining veteran. She's been on so many zip lines.
She ziplines in Jamaica. She ziplines on Disney cruises. She ziplines in the middle of Utah.
For being as experienced as she was and the list of accolades that she was able to provide, she seemed terrified doing this.
She didn't look like she was having fun.
She was responding to things as if she was in shock.
At the end of it, they were like, did you like it? And she's like, mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. I loved it. That was fun.
No enthusiasm, no fun scream.
Just there was a lot of
terrified
fear. There
until
was
the
fear
end.
in those eyes, and you could see, there was just a sheer amount of shock that was there too.
I don't know if they thought that they would get more pushback from Mary on doing the zip lining, because we get through that part of the episode very quickly. Now it's time to tailgate. And she has more questions about that.
Yeah, that was more confusing for her. The ziplining she understood. I was more confused why Heather still had mud on her face from driving out to the zipline. Nobody wiped this off?
That's how you know these women are not your friends. No one told you that you still had mud on your face?
Like on her mouth.
They're eating on her
food.
lip. It's on her forehead.
Yeah.
I know.
Multiple spots here.
Well, she's got a gift that she has brought for Britney. It's some type of little unicorn statue that is a callback to, was it the Milwaukee trip? What was this? To tell you the truth, it was about Britney and Jared. So I guess I didn't really pay much attention.
Britney likes unicorn stuff. Mary was very confused by it. She automatically assumed it was an ashtray, smoking paraphernalia.
Wasn't there a gift involved from Jared that was a unicorn? Maybe I'm making it up.
She likes unicorn things. There were flowers and unicorn something.
It was just an opening for Britney to be able to talk about her relationship with Jared.
Yeah, so Lisa wants the deets, though, because she was assuming that this was the meetup for the breakup.
Well, she's very involved.
She is heavily involved.
She needs an update on what's going on.
Why didn't you invite Lisa to the shartboard discussion that took place? I feel like Lisa should have been involved. It would have been yet another scene for her to jump in on, too. But no, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about a breakup at all. We're talking about the huge rift that you, Lisa, are responsible for in Britney and the Osmonds' relationship.
Is this the third thing that's going on against Lisa in this episode?
Everybody's got beef with Lisa.
I'm on her side with this one because Jared sucks, Britney's annoying, and we're tired of hearing about it. Just break up. I'm glad that someone took your phone and did what needed to be done.
And that's basically the conclusion that Mary gets to as well.
Well, Mary tells her, leave us all out of it.
Well,
Never mind leaving Lisa out of it.
Yeah, because Britney was yelling at Lisa, stay out of it. Stay out of this. And it's like, please leave every one of us out of this. Don't bring anybody else into this. And don't inform us anymore moving forward either.
Mary hates her storyline as much as we all do.
Do you have any other announcements, Britney?
You imagine living through this, having to film it?
I'm surprised she didn't
pretend to be interested.
I'm shocked that Britney did not pick up a glass and then hit it with a spoon to make this announcement that Lisa is ruining her life.
Things kind of quiet down, and if we're not going to talk about Britney, then let's talk about what's going on in your life, Mary.
It's going to be tough getting details from Mary. She is mentioning things very briefly, very succinct answers that are happening.
I went to an exercise class recently.
It was a dance class.
Lisa obviously knows that something is going on. She's digging for more. What do you mean? Or this is just the kind of person Lisa is. She will not accept that little bit of information.
Yeah, she's still in Barbara Walters mode from her interview with Bronwyn earlier this episode. So she's trying to get not those single word answers. We need to expound on this and get a little bit more.
It is ultimately unveiled that she went to this class with Angie.
Oh, and that's why Lisa has lost interest now. Once Angie gets involved in the storyline, she's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense why you were being so apprehensive about the details on this.
I'm sure she thinks that Angie spent the entire dance class talking about her.
Yeah.
So now she's got to let the table know, well, you need to know the type of person that Angie is because Angie's talking about my parenting.
And then Heather starts backing her up on that too, because then Heather can attest.
It came from Heather.
Right. Heather can attest to that because she's saying, yes, all of these things that happen. So we've got bad Mormon and bad mother. And they don't like those titles. Yeah. Well, I mean, Heather kind of likes the bad Mormon title. That's the name of the book. But this is where Mary has to point out, I don't really like your involvement in this, Heather.
I don't think she liked what was going on from either side because Lisa is complaining about something Angie said to a group of people that does not include Angie. Why don't you go talk to Angie? And then Heather's backing her up and Mary's like, You're two-faced, Heather.
Because Heather has known Angie since high school. They have history.
Okay, but they weren't really friends in high school. Wasn't that explicitly stated last season when they introduced Angie?
I'm sure, yeah.
That they knew each other, but like they didn't really run in the same circle of friends.
She's the girl who wears the Greek flag glasses and cape at the pep rallies. And I see her, I know of Angie, but I don't really know her.
This just sets Mary off on a tirade against Heather, where she's accusing her of being a liar because she lied about being punched in the face.
She did cover up for Monica in that instance. Was it Monica? Who was that? Who punched her?
Jen Shaw.
Oh, Jen Shaw. Sorry.
But I'm okay with perpetuating the idea that Monica punched somebody.
I don't think
Maybe that's
Monica,
how she'll come back next season.
Monica is all bark and no bite. I don't think she would be able to swing on Heather.
And this somehow segues into her lying also about being for body positivity because of the fact that Heather has lost what seems to be quite a bit of weight since last season.
And is that why Mary Cosby's upset then? Because this is why she started to like Heather, was because Heather was losing weight? That seems to be their connection point this season.
It's weird that Mary always feels the need to talk about other people's bodies.
Very much so.
It's happened with multiple people. Last season, she would comment on Monica and what Monica was eating when they were going to parties.
Constantly.
So there was low-hanging fruit for Heather to come back with in this one. But we didn't get to see where this goes. That's just where the conversation ends.
So maybe we'll pick back up on that next week. But it seems like there's going to be more. It seems like it's going to be Angie's anniversary focus.
It's her 25th anniversary, and they are having a mob wife-themed party.
There you go.
Which I'm very excited to see.
That'll be good.
Whitney is going to confront Lisa about being behind the Prism rumors, which I feel like is just going to go over like a lead balloon.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, Lisa's going to flip out, but
in the way that she's already flipped out on everybody else so far this season. So it's not going to be anything new that we're really seeing.
I'm excited for the party.
Either that or she's going to go the exact opposite, where this is such a ridiculous, absurd accusation where Lisa is just unnaturally calm for the confrontation.
I don't know. We can only hope that Meredith gets involved. I hope that she's there to back Lisa up. You know that they're going to get accused of ruining Angie's very important anniversary party.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, and it seemed like some of the husbands even start getting into it, even though that looked kind of staged, a little fake.
Oh, so I think there's going to be a lot of drama next week.
Yeah, so we'll have to stay tuned for more.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast or leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
To everyone else, this is a desk. But to you, it's a launch pad. Your starting block. This ain't a desk. This is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G 5G on us at your local Boost retailer. Moto G 5G on us when you switch with ID verification and new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. See participating dealers for details.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/work. Shopify.com/work.